Hello everyone, Fanta here. You're watching Fantavision, and today is sort of another Tales from Retail. It is how I would run GameStop if I were the CEO. I wasn't really thinking that I was going to do another video on GameStop so soon, but there you go. It just happens to fall on within a week of GameStop having all that horrible news with the stock crashing, losing managers, all of that sort of stuff. So as GameStop's CEO, I would basically change everything, because the way that GameStop has been run for about as long as I can remember has been completely wrong. Now, what do I mean by this, you may be asking? I mean that they have been alienating customers and making people feel unwelcome to their store for as long as I can remember. I mean, I'm sure at one point it was a place where you could just hang out and talk about video games and relax, but that has not happened for a long time, and we need to get back to that point. Look at what they were doing during the time of their stock going up, figure out what they were doing when the business was working, and try to recreate that. That would be 100% what I would do immediately. Another thing I would do is I would have never gotten as much merchandise and crap as they have now. I'm talking about pop figures, statues, t-shirts, board games, cereal boxes. I kid you not, I've seen cereal boxes in GameStop that they're selling. Well, they weren't even like t-shirts and cereal boxes. It was like some sort of like limited edition cereal, and maybe there's like stickers or figurines inside. It's really stupid. Instead of all that, I would focus on what GameStop is about and what GameStop means to people, and that's video games. Video games are where the business is struggling. Video games are where the business needs to grow, and it needs to grow by outgrowing these horrible things they've been doing. I would immediately lower the price of used games to be more competitive with every other store. That's just plain and simple. They have to do that. Otherwise, that's the end of their business. They cannot have a used game that costs more than a new game at another store. They cannot have a game sale where the used game does not drop in price, but the new does. That happens all the time at GameStop. You'll see, oh, the new version's $20, but the used version is $30. Why would anybody buy the used version at that point? They're going to buy the new. It doesn't make sense to me why you would not lower the used version to the sale price or below. In fact, just below, not even to the sale price. And don't do it by $1. Do it by a solid $5. I get that's a lot of money, but you got to spend money to make money. That is the key. And that is something that GameStop forgot a long time ago. You got to spend money to make money. All they've been doing is trying to cash in these quick trends. I mean, think about it. They had that mobile option at one point where they became sort of a phone store, but that didn't work out. And that was, again, short-sighted. They tried Blu-rays for 2 weeks. How did that work out? Not well. They probably wasted a bunch of money on something very stupid and didn't make any sense. People are not going to trade in their Blu-rays and use Blu-rays. I mean, there's so many places where you can already buy those. It's pointless. The way they treat the new things that they do. That's the third thing. I was just counting on my fingers. I wasn't saying the numbers. It's fine. The way they handle these new ideas, these new promotions, is by shoving it as viciously as they can into the customer's face and down their throat. Because they try to give the customers no choice, when instead of forcing the customer to do something, you should try to convince the customer to do something. Asking a customer 6 times if they have any phones or tablets to trade in, and forcing your employees to get quotes 1,000,000,000% of the time and to meet certain goals where they get a certain amount of phone trade-ins, is going to guarantee that people are not going to shop at your store anymore. It's simply not going to fix any of your issues. Making your customers feel like your store is the store to shop at should be the number one priority of GameStop, because like I've said in the past, GameStop is not a store that needs to exist. There is nothing about GameStop that keeps people coming back other than if it provides an amazing experience for the customer, because you can buy games anywhere else. It does not sell food. It does not sell any essentials. It sells nothing but video games. And when the fact that every other store sells video games besides just plain grocery stores and just plain clothing stores, then you're screwed. You have so much competition. Anybody that sells electronics of any sort is going to be selling video games. You are not the only kid on the block. So you have to set yourself apart in a good way and not in a negative way like GameStop has done. If you want pre-orders to be a thing, if you want people to come to your store, bring back the events. And I would 100% mandate that every store brings back events, especially for these big game titles. If you want people to remember your store, you need them to have a good experience. And by creating that experience and making an event at that store, there you go. You're already set. Setting up gaming tournaments, I think, would be another great idea. Now, I don't think the gaming lounge is a great idea at all. And if I were a CEO, I would not ever choose to make them into a gaming lounge. However, I would try to figure out a way, maybe not the smaller stores, but some of the bigger stores, at least create a gaming corner. Not a lounge, but a corner that can be easily set up and taken down for tournaments. You could do fighting game tournaments, you could do split screen Halo tournaments, you could do plenty of different types of tournaments at the store. And that would be a way to keep your name fresh in people's minds. I'm going to keep going back to this store for this event, and maybe while I'm there, I'll pick up my games. Or I like to go to this store all the time. The people there are great. I'm just going to go pick up my games there as well. I could go to Walmart. I could go to Target. I could go to Best Buy, but I want to go to this GameStop because that's where I have my tournaments at. It's something that is sticking in their mind, and it creates a sense of loyalty. Speaking of loyalty, the loyalty card has gone downhill so fast. Holy crap. I remember seeing all these amazing items and then just losing all their items, and now it's just coupons. And it doesn't build a sense of excitement when you're getting those points. There's not cool stuff you can get anymore. You can't get this anymore. That's where I got this. Everyone always asks, where did you get that hat? I have not found it literally anywhere. If you can find this hat on the internet, please, for the love of God, put a link down in my description, my comment section, because I can't buy this anywhere, and there's like stains on it and stuff. Please, if you can find it, let me know. But if you can't, then this was an exclusive item that you got on the redemption thing, and that's another thing that creates another sense of excitement, that you can get exclusive items if you shop enough at your local GameStop. And that's not something that they have anymore. They just have coupons. Guess who else does coupons with their loyalty program? Best Buy. Guess who does it better than GameStop? Best Buy. It's just insane to me that they missed out so hard and they ruined their own rewards program. Another thing with the rewards program is they never had a really great discount. I mean, they already have the used games priced barely under new, and that extra 10% off doesn't make you excited at all. If you made that 20% off, people would shop at nothing but GameStop. And I have seen the insane difference between how much these games trade in for and how much they sell it for. They can take another 10% off, and that will build a sense of loyalty. That'll get more customers to come back to the store. You'll create that used game atmosphere again. And as those people buy those used games, they'll be trading them back in. It's like the circle of life, but not being a dick about it. It's super crazy. The circle of life on paper is not a bad thing. It's just a great way for the business to work if it doesn't involve screwing over customers. But unfortunately, that's how GameStop was run for the longest time. Instead of basing their entire program on deceiving the customer or forcing them into a decision, if they instead tried to befriend the customer and make them feel like GameStop is the place they want to shop for video games, they wouldn't have to convince them. They would just do it. They would just pre-order from that store. They would just want to keep going back to have better experiences, because I don't know about you guys, but I've shopped at Target, I've shopped at Best Buy, I've unfortunately shopped at Walmart, and when you're buying a game there, it's kind of a miserable experience. Now, Best Buy's not too bad, but you're sure as hell not going to get anybody to help you. I mean, Walmart is awful because they have to go into the locked thing and they have to bring it to a thing. And same with Target. Target does the same stupid thing. It's in this locked up thing. You have to find somebody. Sometimes there's nobody there, so you got to feel like an asshole and ring the little bell and have it blink red. And you're like, is that really alerting somebody? I've been here for 5 minutes. What is happening? That is something that you don't get at GameStop. The advantage that GameStop has is that personal touch. But the thing is that they've perverted that personal touch into something bad. They've taken something that could be honed and crafted and used in a great way to make the customer experience better by helping them in any way possible, to deceiving the customer, shoving lists down their throat, having them buy unneeded crap because they've lied to the customer and told them so many things that are just blatantly false or just twisted in a certain way. Customers no longer trust what these people have to say. And if a customer doesn't trust what people have to say, then that extra personal touch is meaningless. They don't believe you. So why would they want your help now? So now you've lost your only advantage. And that's all that GameStop had. The fact that they have a bigger variety of used stuff, but the prices can't compete with eBay or anything else. And then they have that personal touch that you might be able to bring people in with new games, and you've lost that because you've lied too much and you've shoved things down people's throats too much. It's amazing how GameStop doesn't even realize what their greatest strength is because they've just completely ruined it. And they'll never be able to bring it back. That's why as CEO, I don't know how I'd win back people's loyalty. That's the thing. Right now, as CEO of GameStop, I'd sell all my shares and find a new company. That's what I'd do as CEO. That's the only option right now because GameStop is dead in the water. Their reputation is crap. Their prices are crap. There's literally nothing about that store that is redeemable at this point unless you just happen to like some of the people that work there. And that's despite all of GameStop's and corporates and the district managers' rulings, because if that store is running like those managers and what corporate wants, you would not like shopping there. It's that simple. If you know those people at your local GameStop and they're really friendly to you, they're not very pushy, and they're not doing anything like that, they're not shoving stuff down your throat, well, guess what? They're doing it wrong, and that's a good thing. Because if they were going by corporate rules, by what the CEO wants to happen, you would hate shopping there. Every single good experience you've had at GameStop is despite what the company wants them to be doing. It's that simple. And that is why if I were CEO, I would just jump ship. That's the real answer to this. If I were in modern GameStop, I would be out of modern GameStop. I would not want to be part of it. Now, all those other things I said, if I were CEO, that would be farther back in the company's timeline, when they still had the customer's reputation on their side, when they still were somewhat exciting to visit, when they still held midnight launches that you actually wanted to go to. That is what I meant with all these things I would do as CEO. At this point, there's really nothing they can do. They're kind of just done. They've used up all of their credibility, and there's no real easy way of getting it back. Because that's the thing. That's the thing with a reputation. It's not easy to build your reputation. It's not easy to make yourself either likable as a company or a person. Hell, you could just, if companies want to be regarded as people so bad, let's discuss it as a person. So GameStop was this guy, and you thought he was pretty cool. He had all these cool games in his store all the time, and you'd be able to talk with him, and he'd be able to tell you about what's coming out and what games he's excited for. And there's that personal touch to it. It was great to talk to him. It was really easy. All the other guys out there, it was kind of hard to get their help. They were so busy dealing with all these other departments and things that they were focused on. They didn't have that one focus, which was video games. But that's what you're interested in. So the fact that you're interested in it makes him kind of like a friend. So you subscribed to his little magazine that he puts out because it's kind of a fun read. It's got some reviews in there. So you can kind of compare his review scores to everybody else's and read what his writers have to say. Because you trust him. You like him. You know, there's that trade-in issue, and he doesn't give you as much money as you want, but the other guys don't even have an option for trade-in. And you've got all these games sitting around, and you don't want to go through the hassle of selling them online, so you don't mind taking a little bit of a hit and getting the games from him. But over time, this guy starts changing the way that his membership works. And you're like, well, what are you doing, guy? And you start seeing the other guys, and they're starting to focus on games more. But then you start realizing that good buddy GameStop over here, they don't really want to talk to you just about video games anymore. No, they want to just make you buy more things. Whenever you hang out with this friend, he keeps trying to sell you stuff. And you're like, no. I came here just to buy what I wanted. Why is it whenever I enter your shop, GameStop, that you keep shoving these things down my throat? This analogy has gone way too far. I'm going to go ahead and reel it back in. Basically, it's a guy that just started lying to you a whole lot. He used to be your friend, but not anymore. GameStop is nobody's friend, and maybe it never was. Maybe he was just more slick before. But I like to think that at one point, all of these different places, GameStop, EB Games, software, etc., they all started from a place where the owners enjoyed video games and the employees enjoyed video games, and that's why they worked there. I like to think that they had the same mindset I did, that they did know back then. They had that personal touch, and that's why they were doing well. But who knows? From stories of other people that have worked there, that's not how it sounds. From a lot of the experiences I had while I worked there, it also doesn't feel like it's been that way for a very long time, if it ever was. But there you go. As a CEO, I would mandate that everyone be honest with the customer. And if the customer asks about a video game, genuinely give your opinion on it. Because I don't know what the hell people are called now, but they used to be called game advisors. And that's what you were there to do. You were there to help advise the customers of what games were interesting and worth playing. Because that's what GameStop is there for. GameStop is there to be an informational place, not just a store. The other places are just stores. GameStop is a place where people can go to find out more. They want to be advised. They want to be helped. And that's the difference. There you go. That's what I would do if I were the past CEO, and I guess present CEO, since I told you what I do there too. Let me know in the comments what you guys think you would do if you were running GameStop today, and if you're running GameStop in the past when it was actually still a salvageable establishment. I like to think that the gaming lounge, like I said, I know I wouldn't do that, but that's just because I know it's so hard to pull off. And I know some people were saying in the comments before, they do exist. I just didn't look hard enough. But the fact that I have to look hard, I mean, that says something. I mean, I play video games a lot. You know, I'm wearing a Majora's Mask hat. I make videos about video games a lot. It's not like I wouldn't know about a place like that. There are arcades. I like arcades. But besides that, it doesn't seem like gaming lounges ever really became a thing, like a big thing. And like I said, the place that bought all those systems for my GameStop shut down pretty quick. So as always, like the video if you guys liked it. Subscribe, please, for more content. The algorithm absolutely hates me. And as always, have a fantastic day. See you guys.